It's yet another amazing episode right here on our Delicacy Show. I'm your chef and host, John International 254. So today we continue with our fine dining series where we are focusing on the seafoods, and we are dealing with lobsters today. And in our menu today we are going to do baked garlic lobsters, which are going to be served with mashed potatoes in coconut cream. And these will be finished with pan-seared cauliflower, which is here, together with its puree. So get your recipe book and let's get cooking. So we're going to begin with our lobsters here. It is in the sea family. So if you've never seen a lobster, here it is. So there are usually quite a number of lobsters, but today we are going to use the rock lobster. And the reason as to why it's called the rock lobster is because of the shell, how the shell looks like. So here they are. So the first thing that you do when you're dealing with lobsters, you need to understand that there are two types of lobsters. We can cook live lobsters, or we can work with freezed lobsters like the one that we are having here today. This one has been defreezed, as you can see, so it's not live. So the first thing that we are going to do is separate the head from the tail. So we have two pieces. Here is the head, where we have the claws, then we have the tail. Another thing that we need to understand that lobster meat is found mostly in the tail. So this is the meat. This is where the meat is found. The other kind of lobster that has big claws, that is called the deep sea lobster. So you use the claws also because they have meat in them. So we've separated the first one. We are going to repeat the same to the second one. So just twist it so that you're able to pull all the meat that is inside there. So we have two heads which are there, and then we have two tails. So we are going to bake the lobsters. Then after baking, we're going to dress it with butter and garlic oil. So the first thing that you do to the tail, using your shears, this one is a shell, so it's very hard. It's always advisable to use your shears instead of your knife. So we're going to separate these. So I'm going to do it in two ways. The first one, I'm going to use the down part. Then the second one, I'm going to use the upper part. So cut it all through. We don't want to remove it fully. We want to have the shell intact because of plating. So that is the first part. So ensure you are careful. The shell is usually very hard. You want to ensure that we are going to get the meal as whole without cutting it into pieces. So after that, we are going to remove the end parts. So once that is done, now we are going to remove the whole meat that is inside here as it is. So it's that easy. All this is meat. So for presentation, we are going to separate the end part that way. Then we are going to cut out the meat. So we have the shell as it is, whole. Then we have the meat. So we are going to cut these. Just make an incision on the part, on the front part. This is going to help us devein the lobster. So in our last series, our previous series, we dealt with the prawns, and we were able to learn how to devein. So this is the same process that I'm doing. Make a deep incision and then remove the vein. Here it is. So set these aside. So the first one is done. We have the tail and we have the meat. Then we're going to work on the second one. So the same process, but now we are not going to do it on the bottom. We are going to use the upper part. So the same thing. You need to be very careful. The shell is very hard. Cut it all through gently. Then once you've done that, turn it and try to remove it. Again, I repeat, you need the meat inside here whole. You don't want to have it in pieces. So get it out as it is up to the bottom part. So there it is. Now the first one, we separated the shell from the meat. The second one we're not going to separate, we are going to leave it as it is. So as you can see, we have the shell there and we have the meat. So we're going to devein it, cut it all through until you're able to see the vein, then remove it. Pull it out and set it aside. So now the other part is to remove this. Just ensure you're taking care of the shell. You don't want it to break because you're going to use it when we are plating the food. So the same, repeat on the other side. And there we go. We are done with deshelling the tail of our lobster. So we have the first one that is separate, then we have this one which is intact. So this is going to assist us when we get to the point where we are plating. So the same thing, spread the tail that way. So there it is. So we have that. This one is going to be marinated, and then we are going to put it in our baking tins and direct to the oven. Does not take long, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes, and our tails are going to be ready. So the first thing that we do is get our 2 tins. Then we are going to wrap them with foil. So there are different ways of cooking lobsters. If you don't have an oven at home, you don't have to bake it. You can use a pan. You can also use a grill. You can grill it. And the easiest of them all is boiling, using hot water. You boil it for about 5 minutes and it's ready. We are going to use black pepper. We are going to use paprika, that is smoked paprika. Then we are going to use some oil and some salt. Just a bit of it. Let's set that aside. We add in some salt inside there. Then some oil. Then some black pepper powder. Then some oyster sauce. Just a bit, not much. Then a bit of soy sauce. Then rub on top. Just brush it all around. Turn it again. Repeat the same thing. Even the shell, inside the shell. And you're done. To the second one. Rub it all around. Turn it. Then we're going to put these at the side. That is going to give it a herb flavor. So we have the first one together with the tail. We're going to put it inside. Then let it rest on the tail like that. Then ensure you spread the tail. Then the second one, here it is. Then we have our tail. We are going to repeat the same process. Then spread it. So we're going to give it about 5 to 10 minutes, and this is going to be ready. So our oven has already been preheated. Ensure that you have your oven already preheated. Then you're going to bake this for about 250 degrees Celsius for 5 to 10 minutes. So now the other thing is the head. So we're not going to do much. We're just going to cut through. Then we're going to boil it for about 2 to 3 minutes. So cut through it. So there's something that we need to note, that there is no green parts inside because it has been frozen. If it was a live one and we cut through, we could have gotten a green residue, and that is because we would have tampered with the liver. So there are misconceptions that lobster blood is blue, which we are going to use a live one and prove that. So we have our first one. There it is. We've cut that through. Then we repeat the same for the second one. The reason as to why we are doing this is because there is some meat inside here. So for you to be able to access it easily, once you're eating it, you'll have it cut this way. So this is the second one. Ensure that it is fully cut. You are going to remove these. So there is the second one. So we're going to put these in water. We already have our boiling water here. So we're going to put it in there for about 2 to 3 minutes, and it's going to be ready. So we have the first one. Top up that with water until it's fully covered. Then you're going to leave it there for about 2 to 3 minutes, maximum 5 minutes, and that is going to be ready. So we are going to take a quick breather. Be sure to stay tuned until the last part where we are going to plate and enjoy it. Lobsters can be served with quite a number of accompaniments. Today we are using mashed potatoes. You can do with pasta, you can do with rice also, depending on with the type of rice that you want. You can do coconut rice, you can do cumin rice, onion rice, even vegetable rice also works very well and goes very well as an accompaniment for this dish. So many of you might be wondering what is the importance, or rather what is the benefits of lobsters, consuming lobsters. Lobsters is usually very rich with omega-3, and this is important for our bones and general body strength. So repeat the same for all the potatoes. So remember to keep checking your lobster that is baking in the oven. So the potatoes are ready. Get them into a sufuria. Then season with some salt. So as that is boiling and our lobster is cooking in the oven, we are going to work on our cauliflower. So today we are going to do two things to this cauliflower. Number one, we are going to make pan-seared ginger and garlic cauliflower cuts. Then we are going to use another part of the cauliflower to make cauliflower creamed puree. So as always, the first thing is we remove this and set this aside. Then we have our cauliflower here. We're going to use the bigger knife and cut it into two. So one part is going to be used to make the puree. Puree is cauliflower which has been boiled and then blended, and then cream or milk has been added in there. So I'm not crushing my garlic because today I'm going to use a garlic mincer, which is way much easier. So it's easy, get your garlic inside there, then you mince it out. Then the other one. So our cauliflower is ready. We've pan-seared it together with garlic. So just a bit of oil and it's good to go. So we wanted it to get that brown color, as you can see. So there it is. So it's still crunchy, it's not fully cooked. So we're going to set that aside again as well. So here are our heads. They are cooled already. So it has meat inside there, as you can see. Not too much, just a bit. So this is going to be used when we are plating. Another thing that we need to understand, if you want to make broth that comes from lobsters, what we normally use are the shells, the head, the shells, and also all the claws. So you cut them together with a bit of meat of vegetables, and you have your stock. So there we have it. Now we're going to blend this, and this is going to make a puree. And as we began by saying, puree is made up of a base being either cream or milk. So we're going to take our cauliflower, put it in the blender. You can do it when it's hot, or you can wait it to get cold. So there it is. Then we're going to add in some cream. So we have everything ready. Our baked lobster meat is here. Our boiled lobster heads. We have our mashed potatoes in coconut cream, and we have our cauliflower, which has been sauteed, or rather pan-seared on a pan with garlic. Then we have the puree. So now we get to the point where we are going to plate. So the first plate, we are going to start with the puree. So there it is. So that is our first plate. So once that is done, we're going to pipe the coconut cream mashed potato. We're using a piping bag, and our piping bag has no tip. So according to the shape that you want, you can have the tips.